What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream from the 10-7 MMA show, MMA podcast. And we are in fight week. This is it. Fight week, the last fight week of 2023. Actually, it's kind of sad now I say it out loud. But wow, what a UFC card we got coming up this weekend. I cannot wait. I know Justin cannot wait, and Justin's had a busy weekend doing his thing with his promotion. And yeah, you want to tell us about the weekend a little bit? Your the promotion work?
Yeah, dude, it's I flew out to Boise, Idaho on Thursday. I had two fighters fighting on a Friday night for Front Street Fights out of Boise, Idaho. I had a great card, went 1-1 on the card. John Poppy, he came in for a main event fight, fought a real tough Dana White Contender Series vet, squeaks out a decision. I had an up and coming amateur girl on the card, Chloe Becker. Unfortunately, she lost a split decision, but we got a lot of holes to make up. Moving on to Saturday, I flew out to Montana, Great Falls, Montana, early Saturday morning, commentated the Fusion Fight League. And let me tell you, man, we got some up-and-coming guys that are really going to make some noise. Big shout-out. We got Tommy McMillan. He's now 5-0 with 5 finishes. He's one of Sean O'Malley's guys. He looks like him. He fights like him. Next big guy in the CK has a mouth like him. Like, this guy can talk the talk, and he keeps walking the walk. Then we have a 35-pounder, Amari Sang. I got a phone. That was a phone call. Sorry. But yeah, Mari Sangzavong, the insurance salesman, approves to 6-0 now with 6 finishes. Tough.
Oh, you cut out for a sec. You muted yourself. Hold on. Unmute. You mute. There you go. Sorry. What were you saying? What was the last thing? Oh, I think we're having some rough service here. Okay. Well, Justin, you cut out for a bit, but we kind of missed that last part, but let's jump right into the mix. The reason why is because we got 6 different topics to talk about, and I got to do a hard stop in 25 minutes. So let's get right to it. We got so much news happening in the world of MMA, so many things going on, and it's really, really exciting as the year comes to a close. The first thing I wanted to talk about was last weekend. And to me, the fight that stuck out the most was I think Song Yadong looks amazing. It was a little bit weird, not weird, but he did predict a first round finish and said he would be disappointed with anything else. He said it was going to be an easy fight, and it kind of was in the sense that he had a dominant decision, but it wasn't that dominant of a win, I guess, if you look at it from the standpoint of what he was saying. Okay, so hey, maybe he set the bar too high. Regardless, I think the big fight that everybody's talking about is Khalil Rountree versus Anthony Smith, but I wanted to focus. I think it's cool. I think Khalil Rountree is amazing. I'm not so sure about that call out of Alex Pereira, the champ, but a lot of people are praising him. I see that it would be a fun fight. I don't see how it really makes sense given that he's just about to crack the top 10. But anyways, good for him. Amazing win. But I really wanted to focus on Anthony Smith and get your thoughts because I think Anthony Smith now is 35. He took that fight on short notice. I actually thought he looked pretty good from the standpoint of what he said he was going to do. He said in the previous interviews that he was going to put pressure on Khalil, and that was going to be the key to victory. I think he did pressure him a lot. I think he did go for a takedown eventually, not a ton of them. I saw some people criticize him about that, but it's like he took it on short notice. And where I wanted you to weigh in is like Lucas Tracy MMA, for example, last night was like, man, he just wasn't going for it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I feel like these fights are so much more complicated than people give them credit. Yeah, you might have a thought of throwing a takedown, but the opportunity may not arise, or you might change. You might be dynamic on the fly. But anyways, he's 35. He had a tough loss, granted short notice. What does this mean in your opinion for Anthony Smith, and what did you think of his fight tactics?
The fight we talked about before, it kind of went exactly how I thought it was. Like you said, Anthony Smith is 35 years old. He's at the end of his career. He's fought a who's who. He was given the opportunity to fight the legend John Jones, and unfortunately suffered an injury going into that. The guy's had knee surgery as of recent. I don't remember exactly if it was both knees or one knee, but I mean, when you're 35 years old trying to recover from knee surgery, I mean, unfortunately, you're just never the same. And Khalil Rountree is hot right now. I said before the fight, I really thought he was going to attack attack his legs a little bit more that I've seen him do in the past, and he didn't. And that really surprised me, but the outcome didn't surprise me. This guy's hot. He's an incredible striker. He's been down to Phuket, Thailand, training his Muay Thai out there a bunch, and you can see it's paying off. And this guy, I mean, if you've seen his before pictures when he was a heavyweight, now he's a 205er, and just constantly going down, and he looks incredible. His technique is getting sharper by the day. I love the Pereira fight. I think it's a great call out. Here's why I think it's a great call, because who else is calling out Pereira? Nobody's called out Pereira. Everyone's afraid to fight them. This guy's coming up, incredible striking. It wouldn't be a wrestling match. Actually, I think this would be a great match for the UFC because I don't think Rountree tries to wrestle him. I think Rountree
won't.
I'm sorry, say again.
Oh, I said I agree. He won't try and wrestle him.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to show the world that he's the best striker in the UFC, and he wants to test against the best striker in the UFC. So I respect that. I think it's a great call out, and I hope he gets it.
So, and yes, I see that. I think that's why most people are praising that call out, and they think it's going to be an amazing fight. I just felt like it seemed to be a little bit, I don't know, it just seemed to be a little bit premature, but fair enough. Okay, now I want to shift it over to, hold on, I got to let Louise in, but I want to shift it over to you real quick. Anthony Smith. It's just such a tough spot, and I love his commentary, and I love his fight style so much, and I still think he's got it, me personally, but what do I know? What are your thoughts on Anthony Smith next? Hold on, and I'm listening. I'm just opening the door. What are your thoughts on?
Yeah, it's tough. He's going to have to sit down with his camp, and he's going to have to be really particular about his next opponent. He's going to have to sit down with his coaches. And, he's done enough for the UFC, and I think he's done enough for the sport to where he should have the opportunity to choose his next opponent. I really hope him and his coaches sit down. They talk about who they think is a good matchup for him next because, yeah, Anthony Smith's a great guy. I love seeing him in the commentary booth. He's a great fighter. He goes out on a shield. I can respect that. He sounds great in the booth. He's a really nice guy, too, man. So I wish the best for him. I hope the best for him. Like I said, again, I'm going to reiterate. I feel he's done enough for the UFC, giving John Jones that really tough fight that he should have a decision in his next fight. He should be able to choose his next opponent, regardless of what the UFC thinks. I think he's done enough for the business that he can handpick his next opponent.
And do you have a notion of who you'd like to see him against next, or not really?
Not really, honestly. I want to see who he thinks that he should fight because that's where the ball has to be in his court. I'm really hoping Dana passes him the ball and says, "All right, man, you've done business for our company, and now who can you fight for us to pay you back?" Now, here's the thing. He's going to have to fight a top guy. It's not like you can call somebody out that's a nobody. He's going to have to fight a top 10 guy. So let's take those top 10 guys. You pull it up on the list. Who do you think he can fight? I mean, again, he's old. He's coming off knee injury. Man, I can't really think of who he thinks he'd fare up well against. But I'm sure there's somebody on that list that you can be like, all right, this is a good matchup.
Okay, I'm just gonna take a quick look. And as I look up the light heavyweight division top 10, the one thing I want to say about Anthony Smith, he's so interesting to me and such a great fighter. And also, it's like you hear him on the commentary desk, and he's such a smart, intellectual guy. And then you hear him talk about how he conducts himself, and he's also just so tough. He talks openly about how he'd love to do bare knuckle boxing. Which, how many MMA fighters do you know would say that? I don't think many.
Mike Perry?
Yeah, other than Mike Perry, but he's like, oh man, that would be so fun one day. Like he is just such a tough dude, and also bolstered by the fact that he will take any fight. He doesn't shy away. And I think it's unfortunate that he took that short notice and lost, probably somewhat as a result of the short notice. I have to imagine. Anyways, okay. The first name I saw was Johnny Walker, but I know they already fought.
What about Teixeira?
Wait, Glover? He's retired.
Oh, did he retire? Oh,
yeah, he retired. What about like Dominic Reyes, maybe?
Dominic, I think that's a great one right there. Both these guys fought John Jones. They gave John an incredible fight. I mean, that there you go. That's a great matchup right there. And actually, I like that matchup. Both tough guys, kind of at the end of their career, and give one to see who still has it.
Okay, let's see if that happens. That'd be great. Anyways, Anthony Smith, amazing. I thought it was an amazing fight. It was a tough matchup, and it is what it is. Before we get to UFC 296, I want to go next to this that was just announced yesterday. Henry Cejudo versus Merab. And I know Merab sometimes trains with you at Extreme Couture with Aljo. And, we've been waiting for this fight. There were some injuries that got in the way. But, I mean, props to Henry Cejudo. I feel like that's a tough fight. What are your thoughts on this matchup and this announcement?
Man, I saw the announcement yesterday, but I didn't think it was real. I thought it was just, somebody posting. But now since you say it's been confirmed, I think it's an incredible matchup for Merab. Cejudo's coming off a loss. Merab is red hot. This is a great opportunity for him to display his relentlessness and show how good his wrestling really is, because we all know that Merab is a good wrestler, but Henry Cejudo is on a different level than everybody in the sport. I really feel that he didn't fare well against Aljo, mostly for the simple fact of the size. Merab is going to be small, a little bit shorter, built just like Cejudo. Cejudo's going to come in. I mean, this is a great matchup for the fans, and I'm really looking forward to see what kind of pace Merab can push on Cejudo. Cejudo's older. He has more miles. Merab isn't taking a lot of damage in his fights because he's just wrestle fucking all his opponents. But can he wrestle fuck Henry Cejudo? I don't know, and this is going to be a great test for him to see if he can do that.
Man, oh man, it's exciting, and I love Cejudo in the division period, and he's funny, whatever people want to say about him, but I think he's entertaining, great pedigree, amazing background in the Olympics, so that'd be really exciting. I can't wait. I feel like Merab's definitely a tough task. He's so good, and his cardio is so insane, but we'll see. And I can't wait. And by the way, Cejudo also mentioned, I'm sure this is true, the winner of that fights the winner of Sean O'Malley versus Chito Vera. What are your thoughts on? Let's say O'Malley pulls it off. What are your thoughts on Cejudo versus O'Malley and Merab versus O'Malley?
And again, it's one of those tough fights because I thought that who did Merab, the former champ, Sean just knocked him out.
Piotr Jan.
No, not Jan, dude. He's my teammate. Oh my gosh, Aljamain Sterling. What am I thinking? I'm losing my mind over here, guys. I thought that was just a terrible matchup for Sean O'Malley. But here's the thing: Sean O'Malley keeps proving me wrong. So eventually, I'm just going to have to get away from this and decide that this guy's the man, and he's going to be tough to beat. Before the Sean O'Malley fight, I thought for sure, the champ was going to hold his belt back. Now Merab is going to come in with a similar style, very relentless, try to get the takedown. I can't root against Sean O'Malley anymore, guys. He's proven me wrong too many times. He's proven to me and everybody else that he is the man, and I think O'Malley will be the favorite in that Merab fight. Now, from a betting sense, since Merab, I think, will be an underdog in this fight, I think there's value in that line, because if he does get Sean down, what can he do? And unfortunately, until the fight happens, we're not going to know if he's going to be able to or not.
I'm fascinated to see Sean on the ground because he talks about this all the time. And now I don't know if he's just saying it to trip people out, but he talks about all the time how he loves jiu-jitsu and it's his favorite part of practice. I'm pretty curious because I think he's been working on it hard. So we'll see. But yeah, that'll be an amazing matchup. But anyways, I can't wait to see Cejudo versus Merab. Long time coming. All right, let's move along we got 4 topics left, all about UFC 296. First, I want to talk about Colby versus Leon, and I know we talked about this already, but let's circle back. I want to know if any of your predictions have changed. I've listened to a bunch of Colby interviews, and his are pretty funny. They're pretty much just scripted, and they have good comedic value. But the ones that I've really been listening to are Leon Edwards interviews, and man, oh man, his confidence is just like so high and so sincere. It really makes me lean towards him. You watch some of the pad work of Leon too, and I've heard other guys talk about it. It's just his striking is beyond smooth. I think he showed that his wrestling and his grappling, everything is improved. He's pretty younger than Colby, I think by about 4 years. Where do you stand?
I mean, this is a tough one to call, and it's a coin flip matchup for me, honestly, and it all comes down to the pace of Colby Covington. Can Colby put a pace on Leon? Can Leon stop his takedowns in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round? I think that's what the fight's going to come down to. So, unfortunately, I wish I had a better, Colby's he's going to take him down for sure, or Leon's going to be able to. I wish I knew one or the other. If Leon defends the takedown, he wins. If Colby takes Leon down, he's going to win. So, unfortunately, I do believe Leon is going to defend his takedowns early on, but can he do it for 25 minutes? I think that's the question that needs to be asked. And I know that you're taking Leon. I know everybody else is taking Leon, so I'm going to go against the grain only because it's a coin flip fight. I'm going to say Leon puts a pace on him and takes him down in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round and secures victory for the new champion.
You mean Colby put the pace on him?
Yes, exactly. Colby puts that's what I meant to say. Colby puts the pace on Leon in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round and grinds out a decision and new.
I'm basically picking Leon based on the confidence level and just how solid he looks and feels and speaks. But I do think when you would just come to the technical matchup, it's a pretty fascinating fight. And I really don't know how it's going to go, but fair enough. I'll lock in Leon. Love to see either win. Love the story of Leon. And I think Colby's hilarious. I keep wondering if Colby ends up winning. And let's say he wins let's say he has one more super fight and then he retires. I keep wondering if he actually wins, if he's going to be like, all right, guys, the act is over. I'm retiring. This has been a wild ride. Like, that would be so funny if he did. I don't think he's gonna do it because he's gonna go straight into the WWE. I'm pretty sure and wrestle. So he's gonna want to keep the persona. But yo, that would be amazing. That's what I'm hoping for.
And just for the people watching, again, I'm not saying that I think Colby's gonna win. I'm at the point where I could think it could go either way, man. I'm just gonna go for Colby because again, this is gonna be his last chance. Like, he's not gonna get another shot at a belt. He's already fought for this. Will be the third time he's fought for the belt. I mean, he'd have to do something really significant to get another opportunity, and he probably knows that. So that's why I'm gonna side with Colby.
I mean, dude, there's no way he would get it. It would be insane if he got it. The welterweight division would lose their mind if he got another title shot.
Just think about, all the things that we've talked about, Colby coming in, the UFC wants Colby to win. Like Leon Edwards is obviously a great fighter, but he doesn't have the following and he doesn't have the mouth that Colby does. So, I mean, it's from a business standpoint, the UFC wants. So it's hard for me to go against the grain of what the UFC wants to happen. UFC wanted Sean O'Malley to win. He won. The UFC wanted Sean Strickland to win. He won. The UFC wants Colby to win. So that's why it's hard for me to go against it.
Yeah, fair enough. And they do. And it would be fun from a fan perspective. It would be a lot of fun if Colby won it. I mean, yeah. Like I said, I don't think it's going to happen, but it'd be super cool. And I'm rooting for both guys in my own way. So let's see what happens. Okay, now, the moment that I've been waiting for. This is what I wanted to talk to you about. Everybody is wrong about Tony Ferguson. Okay, this is kind of my take, and I want to show you my thoughts. So everybody's counting Tony out. Not everybody, but a lot of people are counting Tony out. And I looked back the other day, and I don't know how much. Well, look, we don't even monetize the channel yet. We got like barely anybody on the stream, but I want to show some footage from his last fight against Bobby Green and get your thoughts, because I think they're like, oh, he looks slow, this and that. People are overlooking the fact that he started getting pieced up after he got poked in the eye. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So here, I'm going to share this. Here we go. See, I'm getting better at this now. Okay, so let me show you a little bit about what I'm talking about. Again, I can't play the whole thing, but here, if we see, I think this is still the first round, right? Let's see where the eye poke was. Hold on, I want to show you after the eye poke is when he totally starts getting rocked. Wait, was it here? Hold on. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Okay, watch before. Tell me how you think he looks right here.
The last thing to go is power.
Good long jab.
And look at that, Joe. That reaction by Bobby just showed you. Tony really put him on notice with the takedown attempt.
A little blood around the nose of Ferguson. Oh. That's not going to help.
Oh, Bobby.
Quick combination for Bobby.
Oh, man. Good stiff jab. Wow, that was awesome.
See, people forgot about all this, right? It's like he's looking good. I thought he's looking crisp. He drops Bobby Green. Okay, watch.
Realizes some success against.
Okay, look, here's the eye poke. Watch this.
Ferguson did realize some success against.
Okay, he gets the eye poked. Now watch what happens. Now this is the part where he's like, he looks slow and all this. Look, okay, now he gets rocked, but I don't think he can see. Look, This is crazy. Okay, watch this. Now you're gonna see him just get hit constantly because he got one eye, and it's like, what? Nobody talks about this.
Ferguson with a
oh, wow, that was a good kick. Good setup on that kick.
What's that?
Yeah, he got good setup on that kick too. Gets him slipping out to the outside, throws that high right.
Okay, watch.
Kick got home partially.
Yeah, Bobby's starting. I feel like he's getting a little bit more confident. He's moving smoother. He's going left to right, throwing different angled shots and stuff. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But it's happening, and then there's times where you'll see Tony like shake his head, and I think it's because the eyesight's blurry. Anyway, If you think about that lead up, I mean, he's looking good. He dropped him. He dropped Bobby Green. So I'm okay. Let me go back to unshare here. Hold on. We're gonna stop the screen share. So I mean, I don't know. I think it's food for thought, but. And Bobby Green, I think is probably a more elite fighter, stronger fighter than Paddy Pimblett. Maybe, I guess we'll see. But I don't know, man. Now that I think through this fight, I was feeling pretty confident about Paddy. I'm changing my mind. I'm going back to Tony. Also, want to ask you another thing. This has been really bothering me. Everybody's weighing in and criticizing Tony Ferguson for working with David Goggins, right? He did that whole Hell Week. David Goggins said he was the only man to ever complete the Hell Week, which is amazing. And everybody's like, why is he working on cardio? His cardio is always good. Why is he working on his mental state? His mental state's always been tough. But how does anybody know what's going on in his mental state? Why are they all criticizing him from the outside? Maybe this is exactly what he needs. I don't know if it is or isn't. But like, what's up with this? It just bothers me. It's like maybe this is his team and everybody else being like, you need to refocus your mind. The reason why you're losing is because your mind's out there, right? So anyways, I want to get your thoughts, the fighter perspective. Have you heard this stuff and do you feel the same way I do?
Oh my gosh, it just comes back to why MMA fans are the worst fans in the world. Actually, just sport fans in general. It's like we're talking about people that have never done anything in their life, and they sit on the couch and they criticize these guys that are putting their life on the line, whether it's on a football field, whether it's an MMA octagon, anywhere, anywhere. And they're, oh well, he doesn't need to do that. He needs to do this. You know what? Then you should be a coach. And I can't stand when people that know nothing about anything want to try to tell us, man, you should see the emails I would get, or the messages I would get on Instagram of guys telling me what I should do in my next fight and what my game plan should have been in this fight. It's like, if it's that easy, you get out there and do it. And you know what? Tony's a fucking vet. He's been around. He knows what he's doing. His coaches know what he's doing. He was arguably, top three. They always want to see him and Khabib go at it when they both were in their prime. This guy's been there and he's done that. He knows what he's doing. If he wants to train with David Goggins, for maybe some mental stuff, I mean, let him go train with. If this guy wants to, I don't care what he wants to do. He wants to jump in a pool and go down 20 feet and shadow box at the bottom of the pool, and he thinks that's helping him. Let him do it because he's already been there. He knows what he's doing, and he's a great fighter. And I wish him the best, dude. And I just wish everybody would shut the fuck up about their opinion, man. Their opinions do not matter.
It's crazy, right? Like that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, if I had people, let's say, like watching little snippets of my life and then giving me all this feedback about, like, the equivalent would be people giving me all this feedback. Well, it actually did happen. It has happened in the past, some of, but not like this. These poor, the people in the real spotlight, like Tony Ferguson, but trying to give me advice about how to run my operations. I'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah. This is bananas. And I wouldn't even pay attention to it because it'd be ludicrous. It'd be a little annoying. But that's what you guys have to go through on a continual basis, especially somebody like Tony. It's like, do people forget? Yeah, he's had a 6 fight losing streak, but hey, he had a 12 fight win streak before that.
In the UFC, not a 12 fight win streak, but a 12 fight win streak in the UFC.
In the UFC, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I meant. I think that's like the longest or one of the longest in the lightweight division. Bananas. So I don't know. It's just been bizarre. So I'll tell you what, man. I'm taking Tony Ferguson in this fight for that reason.
Hey, let's go. Alone. I got him to transition over. Let's go.
But that's for real. Like, I really believe it now, especially after I encourage everybody else, watch this fight, rewatch the Bobby Green fight. Tell me if you agree or disagree with me. Like, he was looking pretty sharp. So let's see what happens. I'm rooting for Tony. I also would be interested to see Paddy Pimblett win. Look, I'm pretty much a big fan of everybody in the UFC, so let's see what happens. But anyways, that's my 2 cents. We got to move along because I got 5 minutes before I got to bounce. Real quick, let's talk about Ian Garry, but then I want to go to the Wonderboy fight. That's our last topic. Ian Garry overcoming all this mental adversity, overcoming all of the hate that he's feeling right now. And I know we've talked a lot about how the mental stuff and the outside stuff. And I remember you mentioned before your sister passing and how that affected you. And obviously that's a much bigger trauma probably than what he's dealing with, but he's dealing with a lot of hate and negativity. What do you think the chances are that he channels it and it makes him come out better and stronger in the fight, or that it hurts him? Like, what do you see the outcome of this fight?
Honestly, I can't even put a prediction on it. And nobody really can unless you really know who he is, and that's the thing. Like, these things, like, people can, that's like a fighter saying, well, I'm not afraid. Like, I'm excited to get in there and fight, or, hey, I'm not afraid to fight, or I'm not afraid to fight anybody. They're just lying. They're covering up. Like, there's everybody. I don't care if you're John Jones. I don't care if you're Justin James. When you're getting ready to make that walk, you have nerves because there's always that thought. Am I going to get knocked out? Am I going to die? Am I going to break my hand? Am I going to break my foot? What if I eat a knee? What if I get, you know what I mean? There's the overstimulation of emotion getting ready. So honestly, this is really going to show who Ian Garry is. If he can't put it together dealing with this, I mean, that's personal issues affecting his performance, or he's going to channel it and it's going to make him better. So, we'll see if he comes out and he puts on a striking clinic and does something great. This guy's the real deal, man, dealing with all this personal stuff. But if he comes out and he looks flat and he looks distracted, I mean, maybe he's not our guy.
Well, I'll say this. I think he does seem extremely mentally tough. I think he is going to channel it, and I think he's going to use it to his advantage. I think he's going to blow up to be a massive star as a heel after this. But if he doesn't, my only worry is that he's so young. So he's so young, maybe it might get to him, and maybe this is something he could deal with better in 3-4 years, a little bit more experience. Fine. But if he loses, I don't think it's a big deal. I think he's right. He's still right there. He's going to keep going. He'll get another fight. He'll win. He'll get back in the win column and he'll be fine. I do think he's going to pull it off. And I think the odds kind of demonstrate that, but that's my 2 cents. And
how about this in a MMA fantasy world? He goes out there, looks incredible, wins a couple fights, wins the 170 belt in 2 years. Hey, Sean Strickland, remember when you talk shit about my wife? I'm coming up to middleweight now, boy.
Oh boy,
that would be fucking awesome.
That would be
all right. This guy's the most mentally tough guy in the world.
That would be amazing. God, look, Ian Garry, entertaining as heck. And hey, if you ever hear this, props to you. I don't care about any of the, hey, do your thing, be married with your wife and all good. More power to you. Whatever the controversy, you make the sport fun, you make it entertaining. So, hey, I want to see you do well and keep going. All right, last topic. We got to finish this up quick. Wonderboy versus Shavkat. Before we get into can Wonderboy win, that's what I want to talk about. But I heard Shavkat's interview today. He's got a sister that's apparently going to be entering the UFC very soon. I don't know why I'm so excited about that guy. I just didn't know he had a sister, and I just imagine she's going to be just annihilate everybody. Anyways, let's talk about Wonderboy and Shavkat in this matchup. I think everybody's afraid of Shavkat. Do you feel that Wonderboy has a viable chance? I know it's in May, anything can happen, but what do you see happening here? How likely do you see that happening?
I just don't see it happening, unfortunately, man. I'm a huge Wonderboy fan. I think he's awesome, but again, I think he's too one-dimensional in the sport. I think he had his time, and dude, I hate saying this because, dude, he's such a great person. He's such a great fighter. He's entertaining. Excluding his fights with Tyrone Woodley, those fights were arguably two of the most boring fights I've ever seen in my life. But regardless, and you can't always show up. But unfortunately, I think and again, I hate talking shit about fighters because, it's easy to talk shit about me and I totally get it. But from my professional opinion, I think that Wonderboy is just going to be a little too old and a little too one-dimensional. I mean, he's not going to go for a takedown. He's not going to try and go for a submission. He's going to come out in his long karate stance and fight defensively. He's going to wait for Shavkat to throw and he's going to try to counterpunch him. And unfortunately, this day and age, I'm looking at these guys coming up. Even when I was in the Fusion Fight League over the weekend, these up-and-coming guys are so diverse and they're switching their stance, and it's like these are true MMA fighters, and I think he's just a little too old and a little too one-dimensional for Shavkat.
That's what's so interesting about the sport, especially at this moment in time, is that we're seeing evolution of the sport and fight techniques in real time. I was just listening to Dan Hardy talk about this yesterday. It's like, does his technique and does his style hold up against the evolution of fighters and what's kind of happening? And I guess we'll see. Will be wild if you go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I mean, of course, it's an MMA fight. And he's a striker and he could win. Unfortunately, I just don't see it happening right now.
I totally get it. So look, both fighters amazing. Shavkat, if he does pull it off, will be a huge win. He is the next coming. I think the next big 170 or man, all these it's the 170 division is completely insane, straight up Game of Thrones. So let's see what happens. I got to bounce because I got a 2 p.m. So I got to jump off right now, but we're going to do another show Friday. We're going to clip this one up and keep posting those shorts as well. But thank you guys so much for the support and for tuning in, the few of you that tune in. But hey, we're going to keep growing. We're going to keep producing content. And this has just been a blast. So thank you guys so much. And we will see you in the next episode. Take it easy.